Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Truth, where today we're going to be reacting to college football rankings, and then I will give you my very own ranking for this week for college football. We actually do have a mix-up. At number one, we have Ohio State, two, Georgia, three, Michigan, four, Florida State. Um, I really don't understand why they really switched it up. These are the actual college football playoff rankings. I don't know why they would have Ohio State at number one. I know they have a couple good wins, but man, for me, it's those really close games. It's not like they have. It's not like we knew that they had a bad defense or a bad offense. They just played close games, and that's not necessarily something I look forward to in a number one team. Usually, typically, those number one teams would be the dominant teams who beat teams week after week after week. And right now, it's been Michigan. Whether the controversy or not has been, it's been Michigan. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. But honestly, my only big gripe would be Ohio State at number one for that top four. Other than that, I don't mind how else it's ranked. Yeah. Going on to the next, going through 5 through 8, Washington, Oregon, Texas, Alabama. I like Washington at 5 just because they're still undefeated. I think they deserve it. It's very fair. And then through that three-way tie right there at 7 through 9, or through 6 through 9, or 8, my bad. Man, I know this is going to be weird. Give me Alabama, even though I know they're going to play LSU, and they could very well lose that game. Give me Alabama at 6, because this Alabama team I'll say it has been getting better. And really, the only one hiccup was with Texas. So if you want to put Texas at 6, I wouldn't mind it. I think it's a little high for Oregon. Not really what I would go with. Other than that, I'm not mad at it. I just switched them around. Going through 9 through 12, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Penn State, Missouri. I don't mind this. I've been going back and forth between Ole Miss and Oklahoma, but I do not mind this ranking at all. I completely agree with it. 13 through 16, Louisville, LSU, Notre Dame, Oregon State. Yeah, this is probably how I'd have it. I would love to put USC at 16, right behind Notre Dame, but I just can't. They haven't proven to me that they're that team yet, just because of that defense. And then Caleb Williams has had those hiccups this year, or statistically he has. Other than that, I like Louisville at 13, right above those two lost teams. I like it. We're staying consistent. I would prefer Tulane up there and Air Force, even though they're not the best teams. They deserve it record-wise. Other than that, I don't mind it. LSU, I know I make a big point that 7 wins, one more win over another team really matters. LSU's a dominant team. They could very well lose to Alabama and be sitting at 3 wins, or they could beat Alabama and jump way up. That's why I feel like LSU kind of butts heads and differs from that team. Could really, if they beat this Bama team and they went out, they're definitely in the college football rankings, no doubt. They've played some tough teams. They played a lot of tough teams, and they've succeeded. Some of the teams they've played are ranked above them. They've beaten a team ranked above them, and they could potentially beat another team ranked above them. So you're sitting there kind of okay, well, where is this LSU team really? And the only honest answer, truth I can give you is we just have to wait to the end of the season to really see. Other than that, Notre Dame, I like them at 15, right behind LSU. I feel like that's kind of truthful. This Notre Dame team's good. It's not deadly offensive or defensive like LSU is. LSU has that really dominant offense that's carrying them. Notre Dame's balanced, but not really good balance. They're decently balanced, and I think that's why they deserve that number 15 spot. Oregon State, I don't mind it. Tennessee, Utah, UCLA, USC. Look, I like Caleb Williams. I do stand by my rule. They do have one more win. I'd like them at 16 over Oregon State, even though Caleb Williams has had those hiccups. Man, oh man, I want to put USC. I would love for them to put USC. I feel like I wanted like they deserve it because of that extra win. But I've been back and forth with how that team's played, and that's really what's driving me right now. Um, Tennessee, man, I like it. They've been a bit disappointing this year, but they haven't been that disappointing. I think Tennessee is a team who is a little underrated because a lot of people are kind of downing on Tennessee. They're not that good this year. They're 6-2 on the top 25 team. That's good. That's really freaking good. It's just they're not what we wanted and expected from them. Utah at 18 over UCLA. I don't mind that. I'm not mad at that at all. Kansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Tulane are all in that order from 21 to 24. I don't mind this order at all, except for I already said my grievances about Tulane and Air Force is ranked 25. I think they should be higher because of their record, even though they haven't played the best teams. And James Madison isn't on here. That's what kind of throws me off a bit. But, I mean, how should I say this? I'm trying to think of way to phrase my words. Oklahoma State has an opportunity to really jump up this week. I know that's kind of crazy saying, even though they have 2 losses. I believe they play Oklahoma this week, and that's where it's like, if they upset Oklahoma, who knows what's gonna happen? Because like I'd shoot them up. I'd shoot them up at least 5 spots. You know, that's an impressive win. That's a top 5. That's a top 10 team. I mean, in the nation right now. So I definitely toss them up there. Other than that, I'm gonna start getting into my top 25 teams for this year. Starting off with number 1, we have Michigan. The reason I say Michigan, I know there's a lot of controversy. I know they've been through a lot. Look, the way we've been ranking teams is based off of records and how well they've played and who they played. Michigan has just dominated. And whether you like it or not, I think they potentially have a spot. I have them tied for first because I'm torn between them and Georgia. But Michigan has, record-wise and play style, they've beaten them. Now, if Michigan is proven that they've been cheating, that's a discussion for a whole nother day. But right now, at this moment, with nothing set in stone, with the NCAA not have said anything, I'll have Michigan tied at 1 with Georgia. The only reason I have Georgia up here is, yes, they played fairly well. They've had some games. It's just, man, oh man, it's tough for me to go out and say that Georgia's the best team this year, but they've been undefeated, I'm pretty sure, for like 2 years straight. Or this is going to be the 3rd year straight that they've been undefeated, I believe. I could be wrong about that. And that's pretty freaking impressive. That's really impressive. They've won back-to-back national championships, and they could potentially go for a three-peat. It's possible. So that's why I have them at tied number 1. It's more of respect and the upside that this Georgia team has. Going in at number 3, I have Ohio State just above Florida State. I'm waiting for that one game where it's, Florida State made a statement, Ohio State didn't. If not, I like it where it is. Those teams I think are closer than we realize. I like Florida State. I think they're a really good team. You might look at them at number 4 and say, they're all right. No, Florida State's a really good team. They played some close games, but who hasn't? Except for like maybe Michigan, who's dominated a lot of their games. A lot of these teams have played a lot of close games, so it's kind of like you give and take. But I don't mind that. I think right now Ohio State has the nudge. In my opinion, they have the nudge, just one nudge. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Coming in at number 5, I have Washington. I think that's obvious. They're undefeated. They're one of the only few undefeated teams left. I don't think they're as good as Florida State, but they're a really good team. They did beat Oregon, and they've been staying undefeated. And then after that, I have James Madison, 8-0. Give them flowers what flowers do. They deserve to be where they are. they're 8-0. I know they can't make the playoffs and play in them this year, but they deserve that spot at number 6 because they're taking care of business. Give them nod your hat to that. Right after that, I have Air Force. I really just don't know how to rank these two teams. I like Air Force. I like James Madison. They're undefeated. They're working at it. I've been kind of going back and forth between those teams. My main thing with Air Force is they run that triple option, but if you stop that triple option, they don't really have anything else. They've been really good with that triple option, and that's where it's kind of like it feels to me one-dimensional. It feels to me like, well, either one of these teams a dominant team could beat, but I just feel like James Madison is a little bit more versatile. Coming in right after Air Force, I have Alabama. I think Alabama is that team knocking at the door. Look, they beat LSU at home. Who's to say? Who's to say that Alabama can't beat Georgia and make the playoffs? Like, that's very possible, and that's why I have them right there. Alabama's the team who can do it, has the opportunity to do it, and I feel like a lot of people would have confidence in them, and that's why I have them ranked where they are. Right behind them, I have Texas. Man, I like Texas. It's just, I don't know. And it's kind of looking into the future because I'm starting to look into the future with these teams when building these playoff rankings, just because it's like looking into the future or who they play. Are they really that good? Or do I really believe they are that dominant to have dominant wins or beat good teams? I'm going to say this and hear me out. Texas might not finish in the top 10 this year just because of their quarterback situation. I know Quinn Ewers is out. I don't know when he plays. I don't know when he'll come back. But Quinn Ewers has been out. And, I think that's definitely hurt their offense. He's part of the reason why they've won close games to teams who shouldn't even have been close. With that also being said, that's why I have Texas at ranked number right behind Alabama. If Alabama plays Texas again, I think they beat them. Like, at this point, I think Alabama has the nod over Texas just because Alabama's been getting better and better and better, like I previously said. Right behind Texas, I have Oregon. I like Oregon. I really like Oregon. They almost beat Washington. Washington's really freaking good. I love what Michael Penix Jr. is doing. And Bo Nix has been playing good too. With a combination of things, that's why I have them over that. We'll get to Oklahoma in a minute. Ole Miss, I think that's one of the surprising teams, and that's why I have them ranked after Oregon. I really like what Ole Miss is doing. They're starting to put together a resume. If Bama drops, I think it comes down to conference wins. Conference wins, and you can make a statement there. If you finish out strong and you beat Georgia, I think you get the nod for ranking wise for leading the SEC. If you're leading the SEC, you're freaking good. So I have them up there. Right under that, I have Oklahoma. They've had some close games. They've had some disappointing games. I like to see them do a little bit better. Other than that, I can't really say anything. They're a team that's knocking at that door too. I hate the fact that they lost because now it's tied Texas and Oklahoma. And I feel like being undefeated was really helping them. And if they would have been able to win out, I would have said, yeah, I like this team. But with that one loss, I don't know how to feel anymore. Right under that, I have Penn State. I like what Penn State's doing. They've been having some good defensive games. They've been playing well. And right under that, Missouri. This is really going to make me see how good Missouri is. They're playing Georgia this week. If they play really well, I might not drop them that far. If they don't, I might drop them. If they win, I'm shooting up the top 4 team. I don't care what you say. This is the top 2. Georgia's right now the best ranked SEC team, and they have a chance to shake up the board. And I don't think an SEC team doesn't make the playoffs this year. Like, there are a lot of good SEC teams in the top 25. I think at least one of them makes the top 4, makes the playoffs. There's a lot of good teams. It's just who's going to do it. Right after Missouri, I have Tulane. Tulane's one of those one-loss teams where they're good. They were good last year. They're good this year, and they're sneaky good. They're quiet good, and they're unexpected good. And that I really like what they're doing this year. If they finished this year with only one loss, they did better than last year, and that's saying something because I believe they only lost 2 games last year in the regular season, and that's really impressive. That's super impressive. If you're able to win with one extra win, they've been dominant. Like, they've been surprisingly really good. With that being said, after them, I have Louisville. Still kind of waiting on Louisville. I'm really unsure where I want to put them. Right now, I have them at the border of that, at the bottom of that border on that one-loss team. They could be better. I wouldn't be surprised. I just want to see some statement wins, some late statement wins, and then I can say, okay, maybe I need to rethink Louisville. After that, I have, going into the 2-loss teams, I got LSU. LSU is one of those teams where, do we think Notre Dame can beat Alabama? Not really. Do we think they can beat Georgia? Not really. Do we think they can hang with Ole Miss? Not really. LSU is that team who can do it. And that's why LSU is the only 6-2 team who right now could honestly, realistically make these playoffs. And that's what's crazy. LSU did it last year, and they're doing it this year. If they win out, that's it. I think it's important for LSU to have a 2-loss season to show improvement. LSU technically had 4 losses, but during the regular season, they had 3 losses. You don't want to have a regular season repeat, especially with the quarterback you have, Jaden Daniels. He's arguably playing like a Heisman winner right now. So right now, I think the best thing LSU can do is to play a slow down defense, because I don't think they have the pieces. I don't think they're that ready yet to be a bend, don't break defense, but they're definitely let me slow you down defense, and our offense is going to score a lot. Our LSU is arguably the number 1 offense in all of college football, and that's why that's one of the reasons why I rank them so hard. And they have potential to be a slow down defense where we might get 1 or 2 stops, maybe a couple turnovers, maybe a turnover, but we're going to score a lot of points, and we're going to make it really hard for you to win this game at the end. And that's why I give LSU the nod over teams who have 7 wins. Going back to that, I respect the teams who have 7 wins. That's why I have Notre Dame ranked after LSU, and then USC ranked after. I have Notre Dame above USC because they beat them. After that, I have Tennessee. Like I said before, Tennessee's a good team. They're just not as good as last year, and they shouldn't be underrated. Tennessee's a team who's not that disappointing. Tennessee's a team that I wish Clemson was. Clemson was really good for the last couple of years, and then they just had a really bad season. Tennessee is having a, in quotations, really bad season. I think this is what Clemson fans would have wanted if they were to have a really bad season. It's a 2-loss season. It's not ideal, but it's also not bad. It's a building block. Saying, okay, we went 6-2. All right, let's bounce back. Let next year be our bounce back year. With Clemson, they're not doing too hot. And I know I don't want to get in too much controversy, with their coaching and everything, but let me just say I feel like this is the ideal Clemson team. And I like what Tennessee's doing. After that, I have Oregon State. I like Oregon State. They've been one of those more quieter teams. They've been fairly good, though. They have. They've done some things that I liked. They've played good football, and I'll leave it at that. Right now, I have Utah, and all of these teams are really close, like neck and neck. Utah, UCLA. I like UCLA. They've been in games that they probably shouldn't have been in. Utah has been surprisingly well. I know I say a lot of these teams have been surprisingly well. It's because they have. I didn't think they were going to be this good this year. Yeah, I can say that. They've had moments where they've run the ball pretty successfully. UCLA's kind of been that team who keeps fighting, and then I like that. Kansas, I have at 21. It's a team who going into this year really surprised me. I know I say that a lot. I keep saying that, but a lot of these two-loss teams have surprised me because they realistically could have been one-loss teams, or I won't say undefeated, but they could really realistically been one-loss teams, and we could be having a total other conversation. For the school that they are, and for how they've been perceived, they've done fairly well, and I give them that nod. This is the one team who I said before. This is the one team where they could really shake things up in college football, and that's Oklahoma State. If Oklahoma State beats Oklahoma, who knows what happens? That changes everything. Now, being said that, they are underdogs. They're not favored at all. But that's a team who has potential. And I have them at borderline top 25. I know that's crazy to think. But I'm just that's one of the teams I'm trying to gauge. Like, hey, if you win, prove to me that you should, prove to me that you should be better than Notre Dame, USC, and LSU. Like that's what I'm kind of asking for these teams who are kind of ranked right neck and neck with each other. And if Oklahoma State wins, that's a statement win. That's a big statement win. With that being said, that's my rankings. Let me know if you like this format, how I'm doing this format this week with my videos. If not, or if you like a different way, tell me. Do you agree with my rankings? Do you agree with the college football rankings? What do you think? What do you not think? Other than that, also, who do you think I'm underrating and who do you think I'm overrating? What players do you think really make a difference over another team? And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all and see y'all next time.